Hello. Hello, everybody. I am so tired today. I went to the gym yesterday and I don't know, I woke up and I felt like I had a whole bottle of tequila last night, but I didn't. I didn't even go very hard at the gym. Like, it wasn't even a massive workout, so I don't know why I feel like like I have the worst hangover of the century, but I do. That's how I feel. How is everybody? We got Ricochet, we got Joey, we got Hyperbovian. Hello, everybody. Yeah. You're knackered from work. You're probably just gonna tap out straight after the stream. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed too after the stream. I'm just so tired. I guess we'll do all the New Yorkie timesy puzzle thingies. I don't really have many videos to watch tonight because honestly, I've just been on my bed with my cat and with the light off, just trying to have a bit of a rest because I just feel like shit. So, yeah. Oh, look, I remembered to put up the puzzle. Look at me go. I might have to make a cup of tea soon. My throat is so sore. Spelling bee. Alright. We got O. We have to use the letter O. We got T, D, X, and A, I. I think we can make antioxidant. Let's see if we can make that. Antioxidant. Yay, we made antioxidant for 18 points. Deoxyation? Not a word. Oxyation. Not a word. Everybody's so mean to me. Look, I'm only a bimbo like 70% of the time, okay? 50% of the time, I'm okay. Can we have docs? We can have the word docs. Accident. Oh, I finished it. I finished it all by myself. Yay. All right, mini crossword time. I'm so low energy today. I mean, I'm low energy every day, but at least I kind of pretend that I'm not. Today I'm just, yeah. Concern for dentists and nuclear physicists. Radiation? Get married in a hurry. The world's all-time best-selling book. The Bible? Donut shape mathematically. Oh, I don't know what that is. Secret collection. A Lannister always pays his debts. Oh, T-S. It's called a Taurus. That's cool. Oh, I don't want that to go there, please. Behave yourself. Oh, somebody's here. Gumble Gobble. Hello, Gumble Gob. That is a mouthful. That's what she said. Gumble Gobble. Hello, Gumble Gobble. Welcome. Taurus doesn't fit Hyperborean. I don't think. Could it be... Could Americans spell it differently? Maybe there's no U. They like to leave U's out of words. Maybe. But then that says Taurus. Oh, okay. The spelling is different. Cool. That helps. Poet T.S. Eliot? Poet T.S. Eliot. I think that sounds right. And I think it fits. So let's do that. Hisser with a hood is a cobra. A cobra hisses and he has a hood. He's got a little hood. They're really cute snakes. I like them. 4 down. Best possible test grade. A high distinction? Depending on what uni you're at. I know at some unis they have like HD1, HD2, but I just like a good old high distinction. It makes me feel good. And then I used to tell my dad, look, I got a high distinction. And I felt really good. Four down, best possible test grade. And there's an L and a U in there as the one is decay. Oh, what was one? Oh yeah, concern for dentists and nuclear physicists. Decay. Yeah, that's true. That works. Good job, Joey. Get married in a hurry is elope. Okay. Secret collection is a stash. And that should do us. And it is solved. It is solved, guys. We did it. Good teamwork, everybody. Oh, hi, Dango. I didn't notice you rock up. For some reason, I'm not getting alerts when people come. But we've got Seamus also followed. Hello, Seamus. Nice to see you. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm not alright today. I mean, I'm not alright any day. What am I talking about? It's kind of just redundant me saying that I feel like shit at this point, isn't it? YouTube never updates the names of my streams. I think it's still saying that it's Sunday Funday on YouTube. That's really annoying, but I don't know how to get it to cooperate, so I'll work it out. I'll have to troubleshoot it later. Alright, we're gonna do the most annoying game known to man. Connections. Yay! Okay, we have fling, key, carpenter, bench, pin, candy, major, thing, mirror, legend, affair, code, scale, password, locker, and relations. And we have to find 4 themes for 4 of words to fit into. I got 1K views. What did I get 1K views on? A short? On the Hassan segment. Oh yeah, I know, but I've already had. I even said, I don't want to talk about Hassan because his fandom are crazy. Even if like you agree with them on most things, they're still going to be weird about it. Hey Ella, what's up? I'm good, Ella. How are you? Are you having a good night or a good morning wherever you are? I hope so. All right, let's try and work this poo-poo platter out. What is happening? How's the stream going? Yeah, the stream's going okay, I guess. We're just having a quiet one. We're just doing some games, gotta watch some videos. You were in there modding over lunch. It was a weird crowd. Yeah, well, like, the thing is you don't have to do anything. They're, like, so in love with their Lord and Savior Hassan. Like, the little trust fund baby lord. Do I stream daily? Yeah, I stream every day except for Wednesday. So I stream from 9 till 11-ish. Sometimes I stream a bit longer. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Do you like any other games? Yeah, I do. I just, I got to buy a new PC because the PC I have at the moment is a potato with an electrical current running through it. It doesn't really work very well. So yeah, hopefully when I get my tax return, I can I can look at getting a new PC. We'll see, because I got a whole bunch of stuff I have to pay for this month, like my car and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm a little bit poor, but I would like to stream some games for sure. Pin, code, password, key. Oh, that is good. Pin, password, key, code. All things to keep your stuff secure. That is good work, Joey. There you go. Something entered for access. I can make a joke about that, but I'm not going to. Affair, fling, relations. No, I don't have another thing for that. By the way, where am I from? I am from Sydney, Australia. Western Sydney in New South Wales, Australia. But I live in Melbourne. Oh, Hyperbovian has to go finish work. All right. Well, that sucks, but I would say enjoy, but work sucks. So have fun, I guess. Yeah, Australia is a very nice place. I like it here. Bench, carpenter, locker, scale? Those are all things a carpenter uses. I don't know, but I'm not sure. Legend, scale. We'll work it out. I might keep you in mind for the future, Ella, but I don't have the money to commission any artwork or anything at the moment, but I'll definitely keep you in mind for the future. So thank you for the offer. A fair fling thing relations. I was looking at a fair and fling, but I couldn't think of any like any other things. What is wrong with my mouse? Is it having... Oh, okay. A fair relations thing. How does thing fit in? We'll try it anyway, because I got nothing else. Liaison. Ooh. All right. I think legend and scale are gonna go together for something to do with maps, maybe. Maybe not. What else would go? A carpenter and bench go together. Scale and legend. What about those? But then what would this be? Locker, candy, mirror, major. Carpenter, scale, locker, bench. That's what I thought. But then... I mean, yeah, I guess they are all things in a workshop. But then what does major, mirror, candy, and legend? Oh, okay, well, let's just try this. Nah. Nope. Alright. Major. Carpenter, scale, lock. I know, I just tried that, didn't I? Yeah. My brain. What is wrong with my brain? I like that everybody that comes into the Kick chat is just like trying to sell me stuff. Oh well. Maybe we can look for stuff that's in the bathroom. Mirror, scale. No. Major musical scale. Major is a rank. Major axis of an ellipse. Okay, that makes sense. Hyperborean. Let's go with that. Okay, so if we look at it from that perspective, mirror, scale, bench, locker, gym. Yeah, actually that might do it. They are all things in a gym. Let's try. Seen in a locker room. All right, I wonder what this theme is going to be then. John's? Oh, people whose first name is John. And okay, all right, I was never gonna get that. John Candy, John Carpenter, John Legend, John Major. Okay, I know like who two of those people are, so That was that was never gonna happen. View results. Yay, we did it. Well done, everybody in the chat. Good work. I know who John Candy is. I know that John Legend, I know that his wife is evil and tells people on the internet that they need to delete themselves. She tells people that. And she got cancelled for like 10 seconds, but then she came back and she looks like this. Just gonna leave this here. No, show what she really looks like. Thank you. We'll add the word bot. Please work, computer. I'll put it on the game screen. Hopefully we can see it. No, can you see behind my head? How do I get Anyway, John Legend's wife is an awful person, and she had so much surgery that she made herself look like Jigsaw from the Saw movies. But yeah, she was sending like DMs to like 16-year-old girls on Twitter back in the day, telling them to like neck themselves and like just really horrific stuff. And they cancelled her for like 10 seconds, but I don't know, I guess because she's married. See, I can't name a John Legend song. Like, obviously he must be famous, but I don't get it. Wait, she's not 39? What? That is not a 39-year-old. I know 39-year-olds. They don't look like that. What the heck? I guess the surgery makes her look older. I don't know. Maybe it's the ugly heart that's shining through there, but yeah. Not a nice lady. Not a nice lady. All right, well, I'm gonna watch a video on Jeffrey Epstein. Wicked Witch of your DMs. Yeah, no, actually, let's watch a video on her. That's a good idea. She came up because John Legend was in there. That was the first time I heard about John Legend, actually. Was I knew about her before I knew about him. Yeah, just a nasty, nasty lady. Come on. Show me the gossip. Let's get into the gossip, guys. Wow, that's a 56-minute video. All right, this is a bit shorter. Let's go. Do.
While people had their attention focused on the Astroworld tragedy, Chrissy Teigen decided to host a lavish Squid Game themed party, and needless to say, the internet is not happy about it. The model threw the party at her home with singer John Legend, and it featured a maze staircase, bunk beds, and a light-up pig filled with money. Plus, there were other elements to the party that related to the show as well. Chrissy posted the photos to her Instagram page and wrote in the caption, Where do I even begin? What an absolutely epic night. My dream came true of watching my friends fight to the death. Dunk tank, musical chairs, hide and seek, followed by a very riveting final game of pin the tail.
She's one of those people that thinks she's like really, really funny, but she's not. She's just really, really mean. Like all 100% of her jokes are just, you know, being snarky about other people. Never any self-deprecation and never any like, just a nasty person. What is Astrology Party? So Astro World is this guy called Travis Scott, although his name is not Travis Scott. His name is like, I don't know, Beef Wellington the Third or something like that, something bizarre. He was he's like a rapper or like a hip hop artist. I don't really know the difference between rap and hip hop, to be honest with you. I don't listen to that type of music, but he threw this concert called Astro World, and heaps of people died. Like, he was encouraging people to like do this thing called raging, and he was having like moshes and whatever. I don't know why they're like trying to copy like punk and hardcore culture at shows that aren't that. Yeah, his name is like seriously like something like Beef Wellington the Third. I don't know. His real name is like Jacques Vesico Wawa something. I don't know, something French sounding. And he's apparently like a trust fund baby from Texas. But it's a guy they showed at the beginning of the video. But yeah, he threw these concerts called Astro World. We can watch something on Astro World if you want, actually. This guy just would not take any responsibility. There were ambulances going out into the crowd, and he didn't stop playing, and he kept on telling people to like keep going. A bunch of teenagers died. This was I think this was just before COVID or during COVID, or I don't know, it was around that time. But yeah, that's what Astro World is. People got trampled. Yeah, people got trampled. Heaps of people died. It was really, really horrible.
On the donkey. At wife of the party, you truly are the best and have the best team ever. Thank you, thank you, thank you. More pics to come. However, despite Chrissy's joy, a lot of people in the comments section were quick to point out how rich people never really seem to understand the true meaning behind shows like Squid Game. One user writes, I think you missed the point of the show.
You think it was 7 people that died? Yeah, it might have been 7 people that died, but I remember a lot of people were in critical conditions, and I think there was a class action against him. But I don't know, he's just really, really try hard. I don't know, he just seems like a massive try hard. And I've seen photos of him like posing for photos, and he looks like a toddler taking a poo. He like puts his arms out in like little fists and looks down at the ground like a toddler about to take a shit. And like apparently young people think that he's cool, and I'm just like, okay, well, I apparently am not with it anymore, guys, but that's all right because I don't want to be, if that's who's considered cool. I think I tried to listen to one of his songs once, like, because, I don't know, I like Post Malone. I think he did a song with Post Malone or something. I was like, like, Post Malone actually is a talented musician. Like, you can tell that he has a background in, like, hardcore and rock music and stuff like that. Like, you can tell that his music actually, you know, actually is listenable and enjoyable to some degree. But, yeah.
With another adding, this is so beyond tone deaf as a millionaire to invite your rich friends over and reenact Squid Games, which is rooted in the violence of capitalism. I mean, she's not wrong. If you haven't watched the show, it's essentially about these people who have a ton of debt and they get offered the chance to...
Yeah, look, I haven't watched Squid Games, even as big of a K-drama fan that I am, because I just, you know, sometimes I just don't need that dystopic blah 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 in my life, you know. I just don't need it. I watch K-drama to like as an escape. It's nice, it's relaxing.
Compete in a game show where the last person standing gets all of the prize money. However, it is also extremely graphic. I mean, there must be at least 200 headshots in the whole show, so it's definitely not for everyone, but it is still a brilliant storyline that exposes a lot about the lengths people are willing to go just to get out of debt.
But I mean, East Asia's always done shows like that, right? Like Battle Royale is Japanese, right? Like they've always done like the death game show trope. It's been a thing for a while. I mean, that's what Hunger Games was, right? Was just kind of a rip-off of a combination of like the UN's Agenda 21 mixed with Battle Royale. It was just kind of like some hybrid, and the masses ate it up. Now I know some of the bands that Post Malone like listened to as a kid, and it's a lot of like the same music that I like, and you can really hear it. Plus he's really, really talented. Like I've seen him like cover Bob Dylan songs, and he's amazing. Like he's a really good musician. Yeah, I really like Post Malone. I don't know. I just think he's like goofy and cute. I would be friends with him. I would 100% be his friend. Like he seems like a really nice guy. And like he plays like Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. Like he's really into that type of stuff. And I just find that so endearing because I have friends who play that. They tried to teach me, but I have too much ADHD and I just get bored and I'm like, sorry, I forgot what you just said. They're like, this land gives you this matter. And I'm like, uh-huh. And then they told me something else, and then I'm like, wait, I forgot the last thing that you said. And then they just sigh and they're like, you can't teach a bimbo to play Magic the Gathering, guys. It doesn't work. I just zone out. I just zone out. I can't. I can't deal with it. Are you listing Asian death game shows, Hyperbovian?
Also, to make the show even creepier, they have this group of wealthy VIPs that are betting on who they think is going to win the games. Yes, they are betting on people's lives. And the reason why this show became so big is because of how real and possible something like this could be. So when you see a celebrity like Chrissy Teigen throwing a Squid Game theme party, it starts...
Yeah, but people like her will watch the show and just completely miss the point. Rich people are constantly missing the point. And that's why, like, I don't understand. I understand why young children in our current, like, economic climate and our current social climate are drawn to socialist and communist ideas. I do understand that, but I don't understand how they worship people that literally were born into great wealth, attended some of the best private schools in the world, whose parents have political clout. You know who I'm talking about. His little minions will come for me. The king of Twitch himself. We'll just call him Melasma Boy because he has melasma. I wonder if it's because he's taking like Trent or something, like something some performance enhancing, some PEDs, shall we say. I don't think his physique is coming from the gym. I think yeah, I think yeah, because he 100% has melasma, which is an estrogen pattern discoloration on your face. Because I've noticed it a few times when I've been watching videos with him in that he has melasma. East Asian women particularly get it when they either go on the pill or they get pregnant. Because some of my girlfriends who are like Japanese and Korean descent, they have it from being on the pill, and one has it from having her children. It's really hard to get rid of, but I think that's why he has melasma.
To make people's skin crawl a little bit. The party apparently also included other childlike games such as musical chairs, hide and seek, and pin the tail on the donkey like she mentioned above, and I guess they had enough money so they splurged on a dunk tank as well. There were even multiple prizes handed out to the winners of the games that she ran, prizes that apparently included a flight to Napa Valley and dinner for two at French Laundry. So you can see why people saw this to be just a little bit insensitive, considering the whole point of the show was...
I think this is about her being cancelled for something else. Where's the stuff she said on Twitter? Hang on. Is it going to be in here? Oh, yeah. Here's some stuff she said on Twitter. Oh, no. This is about Donald Trump. Oh, no. We're going to get there. Cool. This was a 16-year-old. She bullied a 16-year-old who was being groomed by like a 50-something-year-old man. And she blamed the 16-year-old and like told her to neck herself and stuff. Like absolutely horrific behavior. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna get there. It is in this video. I had to check. I'm like, I don't care if, well, I mean, her throwing out a Squid Games party is when she's insanely rich is pretty par for the course with these people. They're so out of touch with reality. It's the same as like being the communist pinup boy and driving a Lambo and or a Porsche or whatever he drives, and like being dressed head to toe in like Gucci and Prada and all the gaudy Italian designer brands your Twitch subs can provide. You know, it's all
It's about poor people risking their lives to have wealth like Chrissy Teigen. Are people blowing this out of proportion a little bit? Yeah, that's what people always do, but I really think that this is just another example of how much being a celebrity affects the way that you think. She probably saw no issue with this because she doesn't really.
That's a 39-year-old. So I don't know how many people in chat like know a lot of 39-year-olds, but I have I work with a lot of people around this age, and they don't look like, they look significantly younger and better than this. I don't know if she's gone crazy on the fillers. I don't know if this is swelling from some type of procedure that she's had. I don't know. Maybe she has an illness and she's on prednisone, because I mean, but I'm on prednisone and I don't look like this, so I don't know. But it's like Roald Dahl says in like the book The Twits, right? Like maybe sometimes when you're a horrible person in here, it starts to show on the outside, because she's not a nice lady.
See the reality of people living paycheck to paycheck, or not knowing where their next meal is going to come from. To Chrissy, this was probably just another horror show that she watched on Netflix because she heard it was really popular. That being said, she must have noticed the number of comments on her post calling her out, because the comment section has.
Well, Hyperbovian, 39 is, you know, technically middle-aged, but the thing is, a lot of women look really good still at 39. A lot of women look really good at 39. You can still get pregnant and have a baby. Like, you're still fertile at 39. You're still, you know, you're still young, relatively speaking. And look at people like Kate Beckinsale and stuff like that, who just look like freaking, you know, hot as into their 50s. Like, it really is a thing. And even like, I know Kate Beckinsale has allegedly had, you know, a few tweaks here and there. But then like someone like Rachel Weisz, who's like never had surgery, she's nice. I like it. I approve.
Been limited. I guess she just can't really see that if the Squid Games were real, she'd be more than likely found in that safe VIP room getting fed grapes or whatever. You'd think her husband would at least be like, hey, sweetie, maybe don't post that. But who knows though, maybe he did say that.
He's married to her, so like I have been in a situation where I've started dating somebody and I found out that they are a horrible person and they are just mean and horrible and whatever, and you get out of it. The fact that he's married to her and has 4 children with somebody that tells teenage girls to neck themselves and all the rest of this horrendous stuff, like, it's just, yeah, it's not, you know, he obviously must be as bad as her, otherwise he wouldn't be with her, because you would not have children with somebody who is evil if you weren't evil as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as someone shows you their true colors, you can walk away. And look, like, I have a dark sense of humor. If someone's making dark jokes, off-taste jokes or whatever, but when you're the type of person that acts maliciously and with malice towards people and you just have hate in your heart, it's like, it's just not. Yeah, they both are just gross. I just think they're both disgusting people. Like, if he's with her, he must, you know, that in some way is condoning her behavior as far as I'm concerned. It's just like, it's freaking gross.
She just didn't care or ignored him. I feel like after her Courtney Stodden bullying scandal, she should probably just chill out on the controversial post for now. Chrissy Teigen has been all over
just
the
go
news as of
away
late because of a scandal regarding past messages that she had sent. Along with that, she also left Twitter blaming its toxic cycle for putting her in bad moods, but then out of nowhere, she was back and twinning up a storm again. That's why today we thought we would cover some of the more embarrassing tweets, some on the dumb side as well, that Chrissy has sent out in the past. Coming in number 10, Courtney Stodden. Back in October of 2011, Chrissy Teigen really had no bones about making this supremely dumb tweet. She actually compared Courtney Stodden to Nazis. In the tweet she said, saying Courtney Stodden's Facebook page got shut down for being too sexy is like saying that were just meanies, as in, not quite. Now, my problem with this tweet is that it actually devalues what the did. When you compare anyone who is mean to you to them, it makes the word lose meaning, which it should never because of the atrocities committed by the Nazis. You see how dumb this tweet is now? Coming at number 9, her goodbye tweet. Now this list would not be complete if we didn't have the contradictory tweet. Yes, this is one of the many tweets that Chrissy sent out right before temporarily deleting her Twitter account, although it sounded like something that should have just remained.
She's just an attention seeker. If you want to leave Twitter, leave Twitter. Don't make a big song and dance about it. She just wants people to say, oh no, Chrissy, we love you. We love... Again, 39. Oh, I could show you... Actually, I don't want to show pictures of some girls that I know that are 39 because then I'm doxing them. But I wish I could. I know 39-year-olds that are chef's kiss, beautiful women. You know, turn heads when they're out in public. Men are always looking at them. Gorgeous women. Like, this isn't it, love. It's not. She comments on other people's appearance. I usually don't, you know, comment on people's... And I'm not even saying that she's ugly because she's obviously, before she did all this stuff to herself, she was a, you know, she used to be a model, quote unquote. I think like she just did unpaid modeling work. But still, like the fact that she's been in like Sports Illustrated and stuff, even if it was for free, you know, she wasn't hideously ugly. But the fact that she goes around bullying, people and stuff like that, and then has done this to herself, kind of shows that, you know, she obviously doesn't like herself and she wants to make other people feel as bad as she does. But go to counseling, you know, learn to like yourself, and maybe you can start to like other people. I don't know.
In a journal. However, instead we have it right here for you. In the tweet, Chrissy said, my desire to be liked and fear of pissing people off has made me somebody you didn't sign up for and a different human than I started out here as. Live well, tweeters. Please know all I ever cared about was you. I mean, it's probably true that she only cared about her followers, but what I can't get over is that she had a fear of pissing people off. She most certainly did not. She took pride in getting into Twitter wars with Donald Trump, and getting blocked by people who didn't share her opinion was like a badge of honor to her. Thank you. Next. Coming in number 8, exposing her marriage. Most people have a very nice story of how they met and how they started dating, let's say, but these stories are usually held as private moments though, something you would just tell a close friend or family member. Although for Chrissy, she had no problem just exposing how her own marriage came to be on Twitter for everyone to see. In the tweet she says, I didn't date much, I moved in with people. Like, hello, I live here now. This is how John ended up in this situation. I mean, God, I hope she was joking, but she did preface that tweet with, oh man, these stories, I don't know how you guys are out there dating now. God bless you on your journey. She might as well have put hashtag relatable at the end of that tweet. Really, Chrissy, you started your modeling career on the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. I don't think dating would have been an incredibly tough thing for you to do, especially considering the fact that you're now married to John Legend. And I mean, if we're just poking fun here at this tweet, she could have also added hashtag humblebrag to the end of the one talking about her just moving herself into John Legend's home. Goodness, these tweets. Coming in number 7, toddlers and tiaras. Back in July of 2011, Chrissy also made some very questionable tweets that soon became part of the nearly 60,000 other tweets that were deleted from her account. In the tweet, Chrissy said, seeing little girls do these splits half naked is just, I want to put myself in jail. And then she hashtagged toddlers and tiaras.
Yeah, see, this is when like the edgelord thing was big. So when being an edgelord was big, this is like very iDubbbz and his husband, you know, his husband Anissa. This is very iDubbbz and his husband, you know, they were edgy when it was edgy, when it was cool to be edgy. They were edgy boys. They're out here, you know, cutting themselves on all their edge. And then when that was out the window and now you have to be as far left as humanly possible, you know, they're out here apologizing for everything they ever did, throwing their old friends who have, you know, been nothing but loyal and kind and supportive under the bus to try and get a sniff of like the bread tuber's basket, you know. Please give me some baguette crumbs, almighty, you know. We know what Twitch people and what what YouTubers I'm talking about. I don't think I have to name them because I only have like 180 subs on YouTube and I already have like ops. I already have like, as the Koreans would say, anti-fans, you know, coming after me for just being a chick on the internet with an opinion. It's like, do you have a job? Because I feel like if you had a job, you wouldn't have the time to find my little, like, how are you even finding my little videos with like no views? How are you even finding them? Like, just get a job. Your parents will get off your back and, you know, maybe give you more freedom at home. Maybe they won't expect you to wash the dishes as much if you get a job. And then, you know, I don't have to deal with reading your weird comments on my videos because it's kind of weird, guys. It's kind of weird. And he's not gonna bang you. And judging from the hormonal problems that I can see on his skin, he might not be able to get it up to bang you, if you know what I mean. So just putting it out there.
What must be going through her brain that she thought this tweet was okay to send out, and then adding it to the hashtag is just wild, okay? On top of that, when people began to question her about the tweets, all she did was lash out and claim that it was for the safety of her family. In the response to the receipts of her deleted tweet count, Curtesy actually said, "I actually deleted 60,000 tweets because I cannot effing stand you idiots anymore and I'm worried for my family. Finding me talking about toddlers and tiaras in 2013 and thinking you're some sort of effing operative." Well, I mean, the tweets were there, so what else do you mean by those tweets, Curtesy? Coming in number 6, feeding into it. Now, when someone trolls online, they're looking for an outburst or extreme response from the person that they're trolling. On this occasion, the troll was coming from Donald Trump, and it was to prove that Curtesy Teigen has absolutely no filter online. Most of her tweet is going to be blurred and beeped out, though, but you'll get the point. For some context, here's where it all started though. Back in September of 2019, Donald Trump tweeted, "Musician John Legend and his filthy mouth wife are talking now about how great it is, but I didn't see them around."
She does have a filthy mouth though. She has a really filthy mouth. Like if somebody called me filthy mouthed, I would be like, well, yeah, like I am fond of the 4-letter words. I obviously, you know, time and a place. I would do it around, I'm not going to do it around the elderly. I'm not going to do it at work. I'm not going to do it around people that I know are very conservative because, you know, I respect other people. But when I'm around my friends and when I'm around, you know, my siblings especially, that's how we talk. That's how people from my social class tend to communicate with each other. And that's how I talk. So if someone called me filthy mouth, I'm like, you know what? That is true. If you call me a filthy mouth little girl, it's like, yep, those adjectives do fit. They really do. So if she's upset over being called filthy mouth, she swears so much in her tweets. It's like, and she swears in interviews, right? Because she's cool, she's relatable, she's got no filter, guys. If you want to be that chick, you also can't be upset when people think that you're classless and crass. Like those things go together, right? You can't have everything always. Like you have to take the good with the bad. Not everyone is going to like you. And that's just something you have to deal with in life, you know? You can't please everybody. And even if you're somebody that endeavors and sets out to have everybody like you, then there will be people that don't like you because they think you're too nice and they think you're a fence sitter. So there's literally no way to win. So you may as well be hated for who you are, you know, rather than trying to be some cool, edgy person that you're not, or whatever the hell you're trying to do. Love, just, you know, keep it together.
When we needed help getting it passed, anchor Lester Holt doesn't even bring up the subject of President Trump or the Republicans when talking about. And in response to that, Curtesy only fed into what Trump was saying about her and her filthy mouth and responded with, "LOL, what a tagged everyone but me and honor Mr. President." All that does is prove his original tweet right. I mean, prove me wrong in the comments. That just proves him right in my opinion. Coming in number 5, entitlement. Chrissy Teigen can't even congratulate her husband John Lennon on his Grammy nominations without somehow making it about herself. Entitlement is the belief that one is inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment. In December of 2014, Chrissy tweeted, "2 Grammy noms for John Legend. No one has congratulated me for being the inspiration behind all of me. Without me, there is no all of me." Pretty sure that he just would have written a different hit. He's John Legend. This constant bullying online must just exhaust John so much.
I still can't name a John Legend song, guys. Sorry, but I can't. I can't name one. And I don't think I would like his music. Just gonna say, I don't know what kind of music it is, but yeah. He seems like an F-wit. You know, I'm a big believer that you are the company that you keep. And that's why I'm really like selective about my friends. All of my friends are incredibly kind, intelligent, funny people. And I don't want to be around people that are awful. Like, we make jokes. We make really off-color jokes. But we aren't, you know, we're not nasty to people. We don't go after people. It's just, it's a certain type of viciousness that some people have in their soul that I'm just, yeah, wouldn't keep that. Keep that away from me. John Williams, was I calling him John Williams? I meant to call him John Legend. Sorry if I was calling him John Williams. I think that's an Australian like really boomer era singer.
Much. Even something as simple as him showing off his name tag prompted her to say, "Bah, loser." It's a very supportive wife. Coming in number 4, too lazy. In another moment of bizarrely exposing her marriage, someone on Twitter first said, "If Chrissy Teigen and John Legend ever got a divorce, I will absolutely never believe in love again. #goals." Now, in response to that, all Chrissy had to say was, "Too lazy, hate paperwork." Oh. Good to see that the only thing holding your marriage together is a lack of motivation to fill out the paperwork. Does that imply that she would if she had the motivation?
And look, like, I'm all for having a jokey relationship with your partner and yada, yada, yada. But my rule is, like, I will joke and tease a partner in private, but I will never belittle them in public, right? Because I just don't think it's a good look. It's just really disrespectful. Like, I will muck around and we'll, like, say, you can say stuff in private and yada, 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 and that's fine. But to, like, publicly try and, like, humiliate or belittle your partner it's just really weird behavior. I don't like it. It's pretty gross.
I mean, I'm not saying that, but it sort of implies that even jokingly in this response. Again, very bizarre and very
Oh, that
dumb.
fake tan.
This is definitely one that should have remained in the drafts. Coming in number 3, called out. Sometimes people actually manage to get a good response into one of Chrissy's usual Twitter tirades, if you will. After Donald Trump tweeted out, "We must keep evil out of our country." And in response to that, Chrissy said, "What time should we call your Uber?" Now, while it may be a good response, the problem with constantly trolling is that you also open yourself up to being trolled as well. She has the blue check mark and she jumped into that conversation, and so in response to Chrissy's tweet, someone else said, "What time should we call your brain to arrive?" I mean, yikes. Coming in number 2, no eyelashes. My god, this tweet is dumb. But it fits perfectly at her number 2 spot, you know? 2 eyes, that's all I'm saying. Back in May of 2015, Chrissy tweeted, "Just tried to take my fake eyelashes off, but they were my real eyelashes. Needless to say, I now have no eyelashes."
Sorry, but no one's pulling their real eyelashes out. That's not a thing. That would hurt. You would stop yourself from doing. Like, she just, I don't know. You know when people like are just like type like back when people used to actually be on Facebook and they would just like make up these elaborate like stories or whatever, and it's like, yeah, things that didn't happen for $5. Like, it's just, yeah, that is something that didn't happen. Stop trying to get attention on the internet, Chrissy. Like, you're rich and you have 4 kids and you live in a mansion and you have a swimming pool. Like, go play in the pool with your kids. Like, go camping with your kids. Like, you can literally do anything that you want. You have all the time and the money. This is the thing. Like, she has kids. Why are you just tweeting all day? Go and play with your kids. It's such bizarre behavior. You can literally do whatever you want. You could take your kids to Disneyland every single day. Like, stop trying to, like, why is the only thing that she cares about is attention and adulation from the public? It's just bizarre.
I mean, I'm a dude, so clearly I have no idea what it's like to wear fake eyelashes, but how in the world can you not tell the difference between something
You can.
recently glued to your face and your actual eyelashes? I'm sorry, but this one got me, and it got me enough to toss it into this list. And last but certainly not least, coming in at our number 1 spot, a final note. This tweet from August of 2014 is absolutely insane, or perhaps psychotic would be a better way to describe it. Chrissy Teigen actually tweeted out, "I always have a note in my pocket that says John did it just in case I'm murdered because I don't want him to remarry." Then she adds hashtag true love and hashtag tips. The only person following these tips are people that are in far too deep. If you have so many enemies that you have to be like, just in case I'm murdered, I'm gonna make sure.
I mean, she was obviously joking, but
arrest
she's
my
also a
freaking
C
husband.
word, so.
What an absolutely bizarre thing to tweet out, and as I've said before, another tweet that should have remained in the drafts.
Chrissy Teigen is in a huge scandal involving Courtney Stodden, and it really feels like this is yet another incident of Chrissy's true colors actually showing. This story actually starts many years ago when Courtney Stodden married 50-year-old actor Doug Hutchinson when they were only 6.
So this is a 16-year-old who's been groomed by this creep. Keep this in mind. This is not an adult. This is a girl who's essentially been pimped out by her mother to this rich dude. Okay? She's been pimped. This is a child. I know she looks a little bit older because of makeup, and she's obviously, you know, very well developed. All these things don't change the fact this is a 16-year-old child. Okay, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you see what Chrissy Teigen says to her. She's been groomed. This man is in his 50s. Think about that age difference, okay? All right, let's keep that in mind.
16 years old. Courtney is non-binary, so I will be referring to Stodden as they, them. After this exploitative marriage, the blame seemed to come solely on Stodden, even though Stodden was not the adult in the situation, and they were attacked in the media constantly, even by other celebrities like Teigen. This revelation came out in a recent interview Stodden did with the Daily Beast, where they exposed the nasty words celebrities said at that time. One of the worst offenders was Chrissy Teigen. Stodden claimed that Teigen repeatedly encouraged them to take their own life, and Stodden alleged that they never received any sort of
Shit, so Chrissy Teigen didn't say anything to the man that groomed her, and, you know, I don't want to categorize the relationship in maybe a way that the victim wouldn't want to categorize it in, but you know, we're all adults. We all know what a grown man old enough to be someone's father is doing to a 16-year-old girl in a quote-unquote marriage, right? That she needs parental consent for because she's not an adult. She can't consent to marriage, so her mother had to consent for her. So this is a girl that's essentially been pimped out by her own mother. And this is what this freaking, I'm in the way, but this jigsaw looking, yeah. I mean, I have a rule not to comment on people's appearances usually, but this is, you know, this is procedures. She's done this to herself. She didn't look like that. She's so insecure and lashing out at other people. Chrissy, just work on your insides, okay? Just work on your insides.
of apology from Teigen. After that interview, some of Teigen's old tweets resurfaced, and they are just as horrendous as Stodden claimed. BuzzFeed pulled screenshots from some of the tweets Teigen reportedly sent in 2011 and 2012, and many of the tweets which tag Stodden are mocking and hurtful. One of the tweets read, quote, "Go to sleep forever." Another read, quote, "What drug makes you want to do that with your mouth? Asking for a friend who really wants to know how to look like an idiot. Thanks." And to make things even worse, Stodden alleged that Chrissy would not just tweet about them, but also send Stodden private messages. These messages apparently told Stodden to end their own life and told Stodden that Teigen couldn't wait for them to pass away, but in much meaner language than I just said. During that time, Stodden said celebrities also piled on, adding, quote, "Joy Behar had a field day calling me a slut. Courtney Love told me I was a whore," they recalled. Quote, "People came out of the woodwork to beat up on a kid because I was in a situation that I shouldn't have been," Stodden said. This is not the first time Courtney Stodden has brought up these claims. They also spoke about it in March when Chrissy Teigen left Twitter for a brief time because she couldn't handle the constant hate that she was getting online. Stodden said in a video posted at that time that Teigen was being a hypocrite. Quote, I experienced so much harassment and bullying from her when I was just 16 years old, 17 years old, just 18 years old, at a time when I was being manipulated. So clearly Chrissy could dish out the hate to other people, but couldn't take it back. After
What a
her old
surprise.
tweets were exposed, Tegan decided to face the situation head on, and she apologized on her Twitter account in a series of tweets, saying, quote, not a lot of people are lucky enough to be held accountable for all their past BS in front of the entire world.
That's so passive aggressive. Not a lot of people are lucky enough to be held accountable for all their past bullshit in front of the entire world. She's like, oh, look at me. I was a mean person and now the whole world's being mean to me. That's what that's saying. It's like she's being so passive aggressive with that comment. Oh my God, I hate her so much. I hate you, Chrissy Teigen.
I'm mortified and sad at who I used to be. I was an insecure, attention-seeking troll. I am ashamed and completely embarrassed at my behavior, but that is nothing compared to how I made Courtney feel. These were not my only mistakes and surely won't be my last, as hard as I try, but God, I will try. With Chrissy adding that she tried to contact Courtney privately, but she also wanted to make it public for everyone to see. With Chrissy finishing off her statement, saying that she will strive to be better than she was 10 years ago. But that apology might have been all smoke and mirrors, because Courtney later clarified online that they did not hear from Chrissy directly whatsoever. As well, Chrissy has Stodden blocked on social
Hi, Naima. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat.
media, so there's no way for the two of them to have a discussion. Although Courtney stated that they did accept the apology. That's all for now for that specific story, but frankly, it's incredibly hard to look at Chrissy the same way after this. I know the tweets were from over a decade ago and we should give people the space to learn and grow, but the fact that she would ever publicly attack someone who literally did nothing to her just really doesn't sit right with me, and we should definitely hold her accountable for this mean girl behavior.
Chrissy Teigen has returned to social media to apologize for her past hateful tweets that she sent to Courtney Stodden. The former model is claiming that she was simply a troll and that now she is dealing with a crushing weight of regret. As I mentioned, Chrissy Teigen has broken her silence recently after being accused of bullying a then teenager on Twitter back in 2011. In a post on the blog site Medium, Chrissy left a lengthy apology that began with, "Hi all, it has been a very humbling few weeks. I know I've been quiet and Lord knows you don't want to hear about me, but
No,
I
we
want you to
don't.
know
You're
I've been
correct.
sitting in a hole of deserved global punishment, the ultimate, sit here and think about what you've done. Not a day, not a single moment has passed where I haven't felt the crushing weight of regret for the things I've said in the past." She then goes on to say, "As you know, a bunch of my old awful tweets resurfaced. I'm truly ashamed of them. As I look at them and understand the hurt they caused, I have to stop and wonder, how could I have done that?" For those of you who don't know, back in May, media personality Courtney Stodden, who uses they, them pronouns, called out Teigen for bullying them on Twitter. While speaking with the Daily Beast, Courtney told the news outlet, "She wouldn't just publicly tweet about wanting me to take a dirt nap, but would privately DM me and tell me to kill myself. Things like, I can't wait for you to die." Courtney, who is now 26 years old, first hit the media spotlight after marrying 50-year-old actor Doug Hutchinson when they were just 16 years old. However, I must also add that the couple recently divorced in 2020. And again, according to Chrissy herself, it's not just Courtney that she owes an apology to. She then goes on to say in her apology letter, "I've apologized publicly to one person, but there are others and more than just a few who I need to say I'm sorry to. I'm in the process of privately reaching out to the people I insulted. It's like my own version of that show, My Name is Earl. I understand that they may not want to speak to me. I don't think I'd like to speak to me. The real truth in all of this is how much I actually cannot take confrontation, but if they do, I am here and I will listen to what they have to say while apologizing through some."
Yeah, you just like to sit behind a screen like a little gutless bitch being mean to people. But when you have, you can't stand confrontation. You can't look people in the eyes. So you don't even have the guts to see the pain in people's eyes that you've caused them. You're just like a gutless bitch. Like, if you can't say something to somebody's face, don't say it behind their back. That's my rule. If I wouldn't say it to your face, I'm not going to say it behind your back.
Stops, adding, "There's simply no excuse for my past horrible tweets. My targets didn't deserve them. No one does. Many of them needed empathy, kindness, understanding."
Oh, and another thing, there's 100% no way she wrote this herself. Some type of PR, damage control, what's it called? Crisis PR manager wrote this. She doesn't have the self-awareness to write this. She doesn't. She's not capable of contrition. She's not capable of empathy, of regret, of self-reflection, because she hasn't changed. She hasn't changed. If you are genuinely sorry for your actions, you reflect on yourself and you grow as a person and you become a better person. And she hasn't. She's still a CU in the Northern Territory. Like, she's still a shit CU in the Northern Territory, and she will probably be forever. Maybe it's a good thing that the nannies are raising the kids and she's just, you know, trying to get attention on the internet, because at least the nannies probably have some type of maternal instincts, right?
Standing and support, not my meanness masquerading as a kind of casual, edgy humor. I was a troll, full stop, and I am so sorry. Little weird that she refers to her victims as targets, but okay, to each their own, I guess. Chrissy Teigen's Twitter popularity really began to grow over the last 4 years because she was so outspoken about former US President Donald Trump. However, in March, she decided to briefly delete her Twitter account after saying that it no longer serves a positive purpose in her life. Although just a month later, she was back on the platform and back to sending out her usual tweets. Upon returning, she tweeted, "Turns out it feels terrible to silence yourself and also no longer enjoy belly chuckles randomly throughout the day and also lose like 2,000 friends at once," adding, "I choose to take the bad with the good." In her apology, Chrissy also noted that when she started
She couldn't take not having her fuel because she's a narcissistic bimbo. She needs a constant validation. She needs a constant attention. So she couldn't stay away from Twitter. That's a translation. That's what she meant to say, guys.
started using social media, she had a lot of fun with it, and that she believed she could simply use it to tell jokes, make random observations, and snark at the occasional celebrity. However, when you're not happy with yourself, it becomes much more difficult to navigate the murky waters of social media. Chrissy Teigen then goes on to say, "In reality, I was insecure, immature, and in a whole world where I thought I needed to impress strangers to be accepted. If there was a pop culture pile-on, I took to Twitter to try to gain attention and show off what I at the time believed was a crude, clever, harmless quip. I thought it made me cool and relatable if I poked fun at celebrities." Chrissy then goes on to say that now, since being confronted with some of the things that she has said, she cringes to her core. She now realizes that words have consequences and that there are real people behind the Twitter handles that she went after.
Okay, but she did this as an adult. She didn't do this as a teenager. She didn't do this as an adolescent. She had a fully formed brain. I'm sorry, but you don't get through life and not know these things. Like, that is such a cop-out. That is such a cop-out. I would hold like a 5 or 6 year old child to more accountability than that. Like, little kids know not to tease each other, right? They know not to do these types of things. It's insane.
She admits that she wasn't just attacking some random avatar, but rather hurting young women. She then closes off her letter by saying, "I won't ask for your forgiveness, only your patience and tolerance. I ask that you allow me, as I promised to allow you, to own past mistakes and be given the opportunity to seek self-improvement and change." And for those of you who want to read the full apology letter, I will be sure to put a link for you down in the description below. Now, on the flip side of all of this, Courtney Stodden posted an image on Instagram alleging that Chrissy Teigen had blocked them. They captioned the photo with, "I accept her apology and forgive her, but the truth remains the same. I have never heard from her or her camp in private. In fact, she blocked me on Twitter. All of me wants to believe this is a sincere apology, but it feels like a public attempt to save her partnerships with Target and other brands who are realizing her wokeness is a broken record." You see, just when you start feeling like someone has made amends, there can always be an ulterior motive. That being said, Chrissy did say in her letter, "I'm telling you this for context, not seeking or deserving any sympathy. There's no justification for my behavior. I'm not a victim here. The subjects of your sympathy and mine should be those I put down," adding, "The truth is, I'm no longer the person who wrote those horrible things.
Yes,
I grew
you
up,
are.
Got therapy, got married, had kids, got more therapy, experienced loss and pain, got more therapy."
I know a lot of people who have quote unquote therapy and they go and see, you know, somebody that's vaguely qualified to call themselves a therapist, and they're just yes men. They just sit there and get, you know, affirmed in their behavior. And yeah, there are a lot of so-called therapists out there that have some pretty questionable you know, like the life coach type people, and yeah, they're just yes men and they just affirm people's bad behavior a lot of the time. Or she could be one of those people that goes to her therapist and is just not honest about things. Or yeah, I think that's probably the case, because if like, who is your therapist? Because you haven't done any reflection on yourself, because you're still behaving in exactly the same way. you're just using like being anti-Trump and being like woke as a way to bully people who maybe are, you know, a little bit right-wing or a little bit conservative. You're still bullying people. You're just wearing this cloak of like, I'm a leftist, so I can go around hurting people. So you're still an asshole, love. You're still an asshole, sweetheart.
And experienced more life and got more therapy.
Since the last time we spoke about Chrissy Teigen, a lot more has happened. More atrocious old tweets of hers have been exposed where she attacked countless other celebrities, and she's been dropped by a number of brands because of it. In the last video, I mostly spoke of Chrissy's terrible tweets and private DMs to Courtney Stodden, where Teigen told them to take their own life, along with other horrible statements. But since those tweets have been exposed, other horrible tweets of Chrissy's have resurfaced. To give a quick summary of some of the worst tweets, in 2013 she attacked Teen Mom star Farrah Abraham on multiple occasions, tweeting, quote, "Farrah Abraham now thinks she's pregnant from her adult tape. In other news, you're a and everyone hates you. Whoops, not another news story." This was referring to the tape that Farrah made with adult film star James Dean at that time. After fans called out Chrissy for slut-shaming Farrah, she doubled down on her words and accused Farrah of leaking the tape herself, as well as paying paparazzi to make sure they took a picture of her buying a pregnancy test after the tape. And the wording of these tweets were incredibly harsh. Another slew of terrible tweets was directed at child actor Quansane Wallace. During the 2013 Oscars, where Wallace was nominated, Chrissy tweeted out, quote, "Is it okay to call a small child cocky?" Adding later, quote, "I am forced to like Quansane Wallace because she's a child, right? Okay, fine." Wallace is currently 17 years old, but she was only 9 when Chrissy tweeted these things. But that's not all. Chrissy actually decided to body shame Mariah Carey after she announced that she was pregnant with twins, writing, quote, "Why is anyone surprised Mariah is having twins? I was always pretty positive there were 2 to 15 babies growing inside of her." Lastly, Chrissy took aim at singer Avril Lavigne and tweeted out in 2011, quote, "If you told me I could have one kid but it would be exactly like Avril, I would choose to have a barren, sterile existence that ends when I die." Then after she said watching Avril was the second most painful thing she had watched that day. And trust me, there were so many more tweets that we actually have 2 top 10 lists on her tweets if you want to check those out. After more and more of these terrible
Sorry, just a perfect freeze frame. No commentary necessary, guys. Just take it all in. 39 years old. 39 years old. Okay, moving along.
tweets started to resurface, brands that worked with Teigen decided to drop her. The first brand to cut ties was Bloomingdale's, as well as their parent company, Macy's. After the tweets about Courtney Stodden were revealed, Macy's decided to take a stand and cut Teigen from their establishment. And they ended up dropping Teigen's Cravings by Chrissy cookware line. Other establishment, Bloomingdale's, was actually only hours away from signing a massive deal with Chrissy, where Chrissy was going to be hosting a promotional event for the store. But that deal was cut after the allegations against Teigen resurfaced from Stodden. The next retailer to take a stand was Target, although there is some back and forth about what actually happened here. Following the Courtney Stodden scandal, it was reported that Target had also dropped her Cravings line. However, Target reps later stated that Target dropped Chrissy in December of 2020, and the timing of everything is purely a coincidence. Target's rep confirmed this to Fox Business, saying, quote, "We made the mutual decision in December to no longer carry the cookware line, given our continued focus on brands we develop, and that can only be found at Target," the memo stated. So thankfully, after all of these terrible tweets, Chrissy is finally facing repercussions for her actions. Since the scandal, Chrissy has been silent on all her social media accounts and shows no sign of coming back. And considering this is one of the many huge scandals Chrissy has been involved in over the last few years, I don't think her comeback will be well received. Chrissy Teigen, who is massive on Twitter, has now revealed that she has blocked over 1 million users, as well as deleted thousands of old tweets because the online harassment against her.
Yeah, there's not an original part of it left, Joey. You're very correct in your observation. Yeah, it's... Look, she's an awful person. I did find some of the things that she said a little bit funny. I tried not to laugh. The Avril Lavigne stuff was kind of funny. But it's like... Yeah, she's just an awful person. And if she was actually a funny person, she wouldn't have to put people down. And yeah, she's obviously very insecure because, like, if you couple, you know, all the procedures she's obviously done to her poor little face, with the way that she constantly needs to put down and belittle other women. She obviously mustn't feel very good about herself on the inside. And so in a way, I kind of have a little bit of sympathy, I guess, because I am a woman, so I do know what it's like to, you know, feel insecure sometimes. Sometimes you don't feel, you know, you don't feel the best sometimes, and I understand that. But yeah, like, you know, deal with that within yourself. Don't lash out at other people. Work on yourself, work on feeling good about yourself, being confident. You've got kids as well, so why are you so self-obsessed? You have children. You have children in this world to take care of. But like I said, it's probably best given, I would guess based on the way that she talks to other people and the way that she treats other people, maybe it is best that the nannies raise the kids and she keeps to herself.
Is getting too much to bear. So Chrissy has been dealing with tons of hate on Twitter over the last week or so, with almost every one of her recent tweets being flooded with replies asking her to explain her connections with J and explain why there are reports of her being on his flight log and potentially vacationing on his island.
They're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. She was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Couple that with the tweets she made about the toddlers on toddlers and tiaras being smegsy. And we're getting some interesting data points, guys.
Even though I did want to point out that we don't know if these flight logs are actually legit or not. As a response to all the hate and allegations of a connection to him, Chrissy tweeted out on July 10th, quote, "I have never met that man or been to the island or on the plane." But after this, the hate did not lessen and seems to have actually intensified, with people then digging up plenty of old tweets of hers that can be interpreted to be speaking in a suggestive way about. There's also a number of tweets about pizza that people are interpreting to be insidious, but that's a solid reach for me, and I don't put those two together at all. And I'm slightly biased towards Chrissy because I follow her and I find her really funny on Twitter, but some of the tweets do raise an eyebrow, honestly I can't lie, especially in this current climate with G Maxwell just being arrested. Then things heated up when a Twitter user called her out for deleting 28,000 tweets. Then Chrissy responded saying, quote, "I actually deleted 60."
Well, Hyperbovian, a lot of the pop culture, a lot of the celebrities are really interconnected with politicians, especially in America. They go to the same parties, they're in the same social circles. They all, you know, there's a lot of overlap. Even in the way that like certain celebrities will pal up to certain politicians and sort of like use each other for clout, and there's all these like there's just very strange bedfellows. It's very, very weird. I mean, when you factor in that Hollywood is essentially like America's propaganda, it would make sense that so many of them have a lot to do with politics and a lot to do with politicians, and they all party together and they all hang out. It's yeah.
60,000 tweets because I cannot stand you idiots anymore, and I'm worried for my family. Finding me talking about toddlers and tiaras in 2013 and thinking you're some sort of operative. Then when the situation kept getting worse, she tweeted out again, quote, "I blockchained over 1 million people. 1 million people today, and I'm still flooded with sick psychopaths. So please spare me the just ignore them. They're just trolls." Then adding later, quote, "If Twitter doesn't do something about this actually scary harassment, I'm gonna have to go." Then she later added that if Maxwell does end up speaking and clear her name, she doesn't feel like this tirade against her will ever end. And she ended up privating her Twitter so only people that follow her can see her tweets. But it doesn't look to have stopped people from continuing to call her out on the platform.
The queen of Twitter, Chrissy Teigen, is taking a break from the app after an online rift led to internet trolls attacking her and her family. A celebrity food writer named Allison Roman came for Chrissy during an interview and told the new consumer that her food projects and social media accounts are nothing more than content farms designed to make money. Damn. Like a serious, those are some serious words, bruh. For those who don't follow Chrissy's life or career, in recent years she's focused on being a mom and found a passion for cooking. She created her own cookery line and wrote a
If I had 4 kids, I would not have time to be on Twitter. I'm sorry. And writing books and doing all this stuff. I mean, apparently her recipes are pretty good because her mum's Thai and her dad's like Norwegian or something. So she's got like, you know, I can imagine, like, you know, she probably can cook some pretty good dishes. Well, yeah, like she's so wealthy, Joey. Like, they've got security. She's not worried for her family. She can't handle any criticism, right? She wants to be a public figure, but she only wants like adoration, and she only wants positive stuff. She can say whatever she wants to other people, but she doesn't expect anything back. And like I said, I've only got like 175 subs on YouTube, and I have people like calling me a stupid bitch, telling me to shut up, like, and I'm not even saying anything that far out, but people are just insane. And it's like, well, yeah, I don't get the compensation of like being an almost billionaire though. I'm not even getting any money, and I have to cop people being dickheads. But it's like, well, it just kind of comes with the territory. If you're gonna have any type of presence on the internet, people are gonna be assholes to you. It's just how it happened. My favorite is, why did my algorithm give me this? And it's like, well, why do you keep on commenting that you hate my videos and you don't want to see them? You're interacting with it. The algorithm's going to give you more, you Gronk. Why don't you learn how to internet, you loser?
Successful cookbook called Cravings. A good name for a cookbook. But Allison questions her success and expressed her opinion during an interview. She said, what Chrissy Teigen has done is crazy to me. She had a successful cookbook. And then it was like, boom, line at Target. Boom, now she has an Instagram page that has over 1 million followers, where it's just like people running a content farm for her. That horrifies me, and it's not something that I ever want to do. I don't aspire to that. But like, who's laughing now? Because she's making a ton of effing money. You're damn right about that, Allison. She most definitely is. Chrissy saw the interview and took her feelings to Twitter. But she didn't have a battle with her, even though most of us were probably expecting a really sarcastic, sassy tweet, since that's what we're used to from Chrissy. Instead, she expressed that it was a huge bummer for her because she's always been a huge fan of Allison's work. Now would be a good time for like the sitcom or like Family Channel. Aww. You know what I mean? She tweeted, this is a huge bummer and it hit me hard. I have made her recipes for years now, bought the cookbook, supported her social, and praised her in interviews. I even signed on to executive produce the very show she talks about doing in this article. I started Cravings because I wanted something for myself. I wanted something John didn't buy. Cravings isn't a machine or farmed content, it's me and 2 other women. I gotta say, I'm impressed with the way she handled it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have been like pretty cheese and I would have like, you know.
She definitely has a PR person, because she is 100% like that other chef said, running a content farm. She's not replying to that. She's not capable of replying like that. If you see something that comes from Chrissy Teigen and it seems self-reflective and it seems contrite and it seems like it's had some type of forethought and it's just not, you know, an angry little child lashing out at everybody, then she 100% did not write that. Sorry, she's not capable of it. It's not. She seems very hot-headed, and she seems very very incapable of controlling herself, of regulating her feelings.
Tweeted back being like, listen, mother. No, I'm joking. It seems that the comments actually did get to her personally though, and she took a break from Twitter after sending out a final tweet on Sunday, May 10th. She tweeted out, I really hate what this drama has caused this week. Calling my kids petri dish babies or making up flight manifests with my name on them to Epstein Island to justify someone else's disdain with me seems gross to me. So I'm going to take a little break. After that, she turned her Twitter to private. But Chrissy's response is probably why Allison then publicly apologized for her comments, saying that she probably shouldn't have used Teigen as an example to show what she wanted for her own career. Allison actually tagged Chrissy on Twitter in her apology and tweeted out, I sent an email but also wanted to say here that I'm genuinely sorry.
Thank you for following Green Sky 212. Welcome to the chat.
I caused you pain with what I said. I shouldn't have used you/your business as an example to show what I wanted for my own career. It was flippant, careless, and I'm so sorry. On top of that, she added that being a woman who takes down another woman is not her thing, and said that she hopes they can meet someday because she thinks they'll actually probably get along very well. Chrissy has yet to respond to her apology, at least publicly.
All right, I'm just gonna take a 3 or 4 minute break, and then actually I have a new video on Jeffrey Epstein from Law Crime, which flows into this because Chrissy Teigen allegedly for entertainment purposes only was on the Jeffrey Epstein Lolita Express manifest. So there you go. All right, BRB. Ooh, Jeffrey Epstein, guys, and it feeds in well from the Chrissy Teigen stuff. I don't even know what this is about, but it's a video from today. So, feds drop a bombshell new video of Jeffrey Epstein. Do I broadcast on Blue Sky or Discord? No, I don't. We do have a Discord though. I'm trying to like build up a Discord community, especially so people can put in like things like videos that they want me to react to and stuff like that. Like have a little bit more of like community input. and yeah, just things that they want to talk about in general, like discussion topics that they want to hear my opinions about and all that jazz. So, yeah. We do have a Discord bot. Whether or not the link is up to date, I should remember to update the link before the show. I'll start doing that. Yeah, Hyperbovian is usually on it for the Discord, but we'll get people in there eventually. We'll work it out.
Blackmail, no insidious murder plot. The Department of Justice is throwing cold water on Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy theories in a new memo. But
have I seen the Mushroom Lady trial? Yeah, we've been covering it. We have been covering it pretty much every day for like, since I've been streaming, we've been covering it, because I've only been streaming for like 2 and a bit months now, and we've covered it pretty consistently. We have been very interested in little old Erin Patterson and her poison beef wellies. Yeah.
some are crying foul. After months of waiting for the DOJ to release secret or hidden documents, the disappointment over their latest memo is palpable. The government did release hours of video from a camera near Epstein's jail cell in its efforts to prove that Epstein took his own life.
How long have I been streaming? Only 6 weeks? I thought it might be only 6 weeks. Maybe it's been 8 weeks. I'm not sure. You haven't paid any attention until now? Yeah, it was pretty interesting, actually, just going over all the evidence and stuff of the day and having conversations about that. But yeah, she's in jail now, so I don't know. Hopefully they don't let her volunteer to cook in jail anymore. That would be wise, I think. If the Victorian Department of Corrective Services doesn't allow her to cook for fellow inmates anymore, that might be a good idea. She was in jail then as well. Yeah, but she's been moved to the big girl jail. She was like being held at the cells in Morwell apparently while the trial was on, in like the lockhouse at the jail. I mean at the police station. I can't. My brain isn't working, guys. Sorry. Anyway, apparently this is newly released footage. Well, it is Victoria. Where are you from? Where are you from, Green Sky? Sent to big school. So apparently this is footage from near Epstein's cell, and I guess maybe this is when he was either hung himself or was hanged. Wait, the past tense is hanged, isn't it? Apparently, not hung. Yeah, when he went. Oh, you're in Tassie. I have a cousin that lives in Tassie, actually.
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. There is a lot of new information to go over concerning infamous pedophile and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It has been 6 years since he died in a New York City jail cell, apparently by his own hand, while the guards who were supposed to be watching him were distracted.
Hyperbovian. I know what you're doing there. Hyperbovian says a hanged man can be hung though. I mean, no comment.
Distracted or asleep nearby. Now, the Department of Justice has just released more than 10 hours of video from inside the Metropolitan Correctional Center where Epstein was being housed ahead of his federal child sex trafficking trial back in 2019. Now, Epstein was accused of running this enormous trafficking scheme that involved finding young girls to give him massages and perform sexual acts, having those girls recruit more teens to be part of the alleged abuse, transporting them on his private jet nicknamed the Lolita Express to places like St. James Island, which Epstein owned. And multiple women have come forward over the years saying that Epstein and others sexually assaulted them when they were minors, teenagers. Epstein, the so-called madam, right-hand woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, they have been sued in civil court. They were taken to federal criminal court on the trafficking charges after Epstein died in prison. the government still went ahead with charges against Ghislaine Maxwell. She was found guilty, serving out a 20-year prison sentence. Now, since Epstein's arrest, and certainly after his death in 2019, rumor and conjecture have been a large part of the conversation surrounding him. Many have claimed that Epstein kept this list of high-profile officials and celebrities that took part in his sex trafficking operation, presumably to blackmail them at a future date. And there were also rumors that
because they were Mossad agents.
Epstein may have secretly recorded encounters between these VIPs and minors, but there's never really been any confirmation of that per se. Now, President Donald Trump and his administration, they promised to release any and all of the information related to the Epstein investigation. But as it turns out, most of it is far too sensitive to ever release publicly, and most
That's
of what
convenient.
can be released already has been. Hey everybody, this is another lawn crime legal alert. Did you know that children are being diagnosed with serious conditions like type?
Yeah. So there's a lot of classified Epstein data. Hello, Dusty Birdman. G'day yourself, mate. What is up? So there's the flight logs, and then there's supposedly, you know, blackmail material on politicians and celebrities, and the flight logs, obviously the flight manifest for the Lolita Express. A lot of celebrities we know were going to the island to party, I guess. Is a sanitized way of putting it. Yeah.
Type 2 diabetes and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and the research is potentially linking ultra-processed foods to all this. Yeah, well, Morgan & Morgan, they're stepping in to fight to hold these food companies to go back. Under 21 has been around Jeffrey Epstein's death. They aren't completely baseless. There have always been a lot of questions surrounding exactly what happened that night. According to the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, Epstein tried to harm himself in July of 2019 and was found semi-conscious in his cell with injuries to his neck. He was put on suicide watch, held in an observation cell, but after 6 days was given the all clear.
I mean, it would make sense that somebody that's a billionaire and is used to living a pretty comfortable life would try and take their own lives if they were in prison. But it would also make sense that certain people that run in elite circles would also be able to get to him on the inside, right? You can buy anything. You can buy anything. I mean, look at Diddy. He was able to get off his more serious charges. If you have money, you can buy the best lawyers. And if you can buy the best lawyers, you can usually convince a stupid jury to, you know, to vote with you, to go with your version of events. It's really that straightforward sometimes, unfortunately. You've noticed the invite link expires after 100 uses. That's probably true. We should probably just stay on top of it. It's my fault. Like, I'm very new to like streaming and stuff, so I just need to have a checklist before I stream and go through it and make sure I've like renewed the link and I've got the chatbot has the latest link and yada yada yada. I need to get my shit together basically. But we'll get there one day.
By a doctor to go back to a special housing unit where he was supposed to have a roommate. But in August of 2019, Epstein's cellmate was transferred. No new cellmate was put in the room. Guards were supposed to check on Epstein every 30 minutes throughout the night. But the two guards who were assigned to watch him on August 10th apparently fell asleep or were somehow distracted.
Well, that's convenient.
An investigation found that the two later falsified prison records. So obviously, people have thoughts about this. There was also, by the way, a lack of cameras. 2 cameras in front of Epstein's cell malfunctioned. This was according to the BOP, and a third had footage that was...
Yeah, look, a few things happening is a coincidence. You could put it down to coincidence, but when there's that many coincidences, you got to put it down to conspiracy, right? This is obviously people conspiring for there to be, you know, convenient blind spots, convenient access to Epstein potentially, and then he's hung. He's hanged. Sorry, that's the correct English apparently, so we're gonna go with that. Yeah, it's just all a little bit too convenient, right? It's just all a little bit too convenient.
Reportedly unusable. You wonder why there's so many theories? Now, guards found him dead in his cell when they distributed breakfast. His body was removed from the scene against BOP policy, and photos of his body, as it was found, were apparently never taken. In fact, I'll tell you what, we spoke with Jeffrey Epstein's brother Mark back in January of 2024 here on Sidebar, and at the time, he believed there was something suspicious about his brother's death.
I Dr. Michael Barden to witness the autopsy. The autopsy was performed by the city pathologist. I, as a family member, have the right to have my own pathologist be there and to conduct an autopsy once the body is claimed, if we deemed it was necessary.
And the reason I ask you that is because you just said a second ago you thought that, you know, your brother's death was a suicide, you were mourning his loss, but there seemed to be something to indicate to you, I want a second opinion, to someone to observe the autopsy, right? What was the reason you thought that?
Well, because in speaking with his attorneys, you know, they had a suicide, and they were sort of surprised that he did it. So we figured let's cover the bases and, you know, make sure we have somebody there as well. Because one of the things that's not been out there much is that a few days after his death, there was a hearing scheduled to appeal the decision for bail. You know, the first time when he was first arrested, his attorneys asked me if I would participate in his bail. And I said, yes. I said, put up my house in Florida. I knew my brother wasn't a flight risk and he's my brother. I didn't care. And then bail was denied, which is why he was in jail. And then they were going to appeal the decision for bail. And Jeffrey was putting up a pretty big bail. And they asked me for the appeal if I would guarantee his bail. And I agreed, in essence, doubling it. So there was a...
Well, if he was still engaging with the legal system in good faith, it would be weird that he would kill himself, right? Obviously, there would be public uproar if he was given bail. But I mean, worse people have been given bail, right? Worse people have been given bail, so... And there are ways to track people's movements now, right? There are ways to keep tabs on people that have been charged with crimes. So, yeah, I don't know. It seemed like maybe he had hope for bail, so it would be weird that he would neck himself before that.
Chance he might have gotten bail. And that hearing was scheduled in, I think, for the 12th, you know, in a couple of days. So then I'm thinking, if he was going to kill himself, wouldn't he wait to after the bail hearing? Yeah, because if he got bail, he'd be living in his house with an ankle monitor and armed guards and cameras, so he wouldn't disappear anywhere. Not that I thought he would try. And then if bail was denied again, then it would be a more compelling argument for him to kill himself if he wanted to. But a few days before the bail hearing makes no sense at all.
So do you have a theory as to what happened here? Because, you know, there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, there's a lot of innuendo. Do you have a theory as to what happened here?
Yes, my theory is that this was a targeted, like, assassination.
But in recent months, FBI Director Kash Patel has testified that Jeffrey Epstein took his own life.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Bail shouldn't even be an option with those kinds of charges against you. Oh, I 100% agree, Green Sky, but unfortunately, you get the justice you can afford typically if you've got a public defender. You know, like what we would call legal aid in Australia. If you've got like a legal aid defense solicitor, the likelihood that you're going to get bail is so low. But if you're a rich asshole that's, you know, done these things to children, you can get bail. Unfortunately, that's the way the system works, right? You get the justice you can afford. The world sucks, but that's the way the world is. It's awful, but it's just kind of reality, unfortunately.
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Cash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production of the public, such as CSAM.
And when Director Patel says CSAM, he means child sexual abuse material. But I will tell you, despite comments from high-profile figures like Akash Patel, influencers from both sides of the aisle have continued to push the story that this is all part of a cover-up, right? Just take a look at some of these YouTube video titles from last month. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino portray MAGA. Kash Patel lies about Epstein and Trump cover-up. Kash Patel covers up Epstein tapes on Rogan. So what is the Department of Justice saying now about Epstein's death, and what have we learned from the hours of jail surveillance footage that was just released? Well, to talk about it, let me bring on retired FBI agent Colin L. Schmidt. Colin, thanks so much for coming back here on Sidebar.
Thank you for having me.
All right, your reaction. Announcement from the DOJ. There's no client list, no more videos to be released. Surveillance apparently proving that no one...
Oh, Elon loves calling people that don't agree with him a pedophile. Like he's... Yeah, like he's a bastion of moral virtue with how many baby mamas does he have? Like, calm down, Elon. Stop spreading your autistic sperm, okay? You have enough kids. You need to calm down. No one needs your old man spoof, okay? Keep it to yourself. But he kind of seems like... You know, when somebody's making that much noise and accusing that many people of something, I always wonder if, like, he doth protest too much. I always wonder that about Elon, because the guy is obviously not, you know, he's not a bastion of moral virtue himself, which is so weird why, like, the conservative right have, like, really embraced him, because he's not a proponent of the nuclear family in any regard, right? Anyway, what would I know? I'm just an anime girl on the internet.
Approached Epstein's cell. What do you think?
Well, I just have to go by what was in the letter and actually read some excerpts of it. I actually have it up here, but I believe that's like the third or fourth paragraph. They say we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. And then they go on the next paragraph and say, the review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims.
Yeah.
So the two statements seem to be a little bit contradictory, because if you have 1,000 victims, how did he harm them? And were there third parties involved in harming those 1,000 victims? And based upon the trial, and in the trial of Giselle Maxwell, it came out that she was somebody who actually recruited victims for prostitution with these alleged third parties. So there just seems to be...
What a sicko. I, as a woman, could just not imagine, like, procuring, like, children first, like, feeding these little lambs to a wolf. Like, what is wrong with her? I mean, I know what's wrong with her. She fucking... Well, I'm glad she's in jail. Let's just say that.
There just seems to be some contradictory statements in their own letter, which is going to obviously fuel just conspiracy theories, or just going to go wild now.
I don't disagree with that.
You're correct, Hyperbovie, and that is an actual pick-me. Ghislaine Maxwell, what do I call it, Giselle? Ghislaine Maxwell is an actual pick-me. That chick would actually do anything for male validation, including facilitating raping children. What an absolute heinous hag. Do I know about Ian Watkins from The Lost Prophets? Yes, that guy is a sicko. That is the sickest stuff I've ever heard. The fans that, like, gave him their actual, like, babies, like tiny little babies, those women are almost as vile as him. Actually, no, they are as vile as him. Imagine being such a groupie that you give your newborn baby to. For those of you that don't know, Ian Watkins is like this singer from like this early 2000s band called The Lost Prophets, and he's a PDF file of like the really, 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 really young kind, like infants. And some of his groupies, I believe they did get charged. I believe they were charged, Green Sky. Groupies would give him access to their children, including like a 3-month-old baby, like just the most heinous stuff. Yeah, I do remember that case, Green Sky. Those chicks are the definitions of pick-me's as well. Oh my goodness. So many people, like, obviously with what's happened in Victoria over the last few weeks, we know with that sick freak at the kindies, at the daycares, doing what he's doing. It's just like, how many people are out there? When I have kids, I'm just wrapping them in cotton wool and keeping them in a tower. Like, they're not going to go anywhere. It's like, you can stay inside and watch Bluey. That's all you're doing. All right.
I'm sure this isn't going to quell the conversation. What's a reasonable explanation for that? How could you have those two statements, work in hand in hand with each other?
Without having more information, I was never a part to any of this investigation, even though the entire FBI, there were several field officers involved in gathering evidence.
Bad Boy Bubba, that movie messed with my mind because I've been trying, ever since I saw that movie, I've been trying to work out how they did the scenes with the cat without actually killing a cat. And I can't. That kept me up. I'm like, ugh. Yeah, the mum in Bad Boy Bubba. Oh my God. Apparently they were supposed to use a way younger actor as well for the role. Yeah, it's gross. If anyone, it is a good movie. It's an Australian movie, Bad Boy Bubba, but I don't know if I would recommend it. It's highly disturbing. I think it was filmed in Adelaide, right? I think it's set in Adelaide. It's super disturbing.
They also said that I think they got gigabytes of video evidence from his house, thousands of pages of documentary evidence, and basically to say that there's nothing there to charge unidentified third parties, and maybe it's a statement that they're saying is no identified third parties in terms of extortion, which they talked about as well. But it just seems like the letter is just adding, not even kerosene. I mean, they just dropped basically a whole fuel depot on the conspiracy theorists with this letter, and I think it's just going to cause more problems than it solves.
So before we dig into what the DOJ has to say about alleged evidence that was seized in its investigation of Epstein, I want to first talk about the video the department released showing nearly 11 hours of surveillance video from the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. Now, something I have to note here, this is a separate facility from the MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center, where Sean Diddy Combs has been since his arrest on federal charges back in September. Sometimes people confuse the two, understandable. But according to the DOJ memo, quote, after a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10th.
Hyperbovian, what's the money that Mossad has all the video, all the blackmail material? The blackmail materials about the investigators? Oh yeah, they've got a dirt file on everybody, I guarantee it.
2019. The FBI's independent review of this footage confirmed that from the time Epstein was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m. on August 9th, 2019, until around 6:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody entered any of the tiers in the SHU. SHU stands for Specialized Housing Unit. So the video starts at 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time on August 9th. It does not show Epstein's cell door, but according to the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, anyone coming or going from that housing unit would have been seen on that camera. And you can see men walking around in orange jumpsuits and what appears to be a guard desk. At around 7:50 p.m., you can see a prisoner, believed to be Epstein, walking into the frame with a guard behind him, then down a set of stairs and across the room. Colin, so according to officials, if any sort of assassin had walked through to get to Epstein's cell, it would have been captured on this camera. They're releasing the footage. Is there anything that we should be looking at more when it comes to Epstein's death from this video?
It does help, quell some of the conspiracy theories, because now you're giving evidence that an independent person can review. However, based upon my understanding, there was 2 prison guards that were either fired or dismissed, and we haven't heard from them. And so that would be kind of the next logical step, is if you're going to reduce or release.
Yeah, Green Sky, 100%. A timestamp doesn't necessarily mean anything these days. These things can be forged. They can also be tampered with. Like, it's, yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Release everything. Okay, are we going to, is the public going to have an opportunity, or Congress have an opportunity to talk to these 2 prison guards to find out what really happened? I think he did commit suicide based upon all the evidence that's available. However, the point of, are they going to be able to reduce all the conspiracy theories, and frankly, the energy in Congress to ask for more information? Once again, I don't think this letter is going to help. I think it's actually hurting their case.
Well, look at the video, right? Video is some of the most important evidence we can possibly have in any investigation or criminal case. Aside from, you could say, hey, listen, you have guards.
There's 1 minute of video missing. Well, that's very convenient, Ricochet. That's very convenient. How long does it take to put a noose around someone's neck? I assume not very long. Never tried it myself. Not into that personally, but I'm not going to make a joke about in excess. I'm going to leave that out there because I'm trying to behave myself on the internet.
Were negligent, didn't do what they were supposed to do, right? You can make that argument. But the idea, if the video were to show something else, unless someone's making the accusation that the video was doctored and there's no evidence to support that whatsoever, to have the government release this, to have the government, an administration who has been keen on saying we're gonna, let everybody know what's happening with the Epstein files, to release this video is significant. And I think that's being used to stop the conversation, at least when it comes to Epstein's death. But at the same point, I'm sure people will digest this video, analyze this video, talk about if it was doctored or not. I'm sure that doesn't end. But, from an evidentiary point of view, is there any reason to doubt what we're seeing?
I don't think so. However, every hammer is going to find a nail, and people are going to look at that video and they're going to make their own conclusions. I would have liked to have seen them come out with a schematic and show where the video or where the cameras are located, as well as give a little bit more context to what we were seeing on that video. But once again, the public will never be satisfied, because this case is still so salacious, and there's so many connections that it will never go away.
So let's talk about the video evidence against Epstein. Here's what the memo says, quote, to ensure that the review is thorough, the FBI conducted digital...
G'day, Duan Pre. What is happening in South Africa today? Is it good? Is it fun? What's happening?
Searches of its databases, hard drives, and network drives, as well as physical searches of squad areas, locked cabinets, desks, closets, and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence. Locked cabinets, desks. You think that they were looking at all these places for hidden Epstein files? I mean, that's quite the statement too.
Well, and based upon my experience in the FBI, that does happen. That stuff doesn't make it into the evidence locker, so to speak, because some kind of case, there's so many moving parts and so many different employees or agents involved that things do tend to be stored, so to speak, in your squad area, and they may not be relevant to the case. It might just...
You like the expectation that the conspiracy will just die out with no confirmed list? Yeah, it's not. It's not going to die out. It's not going to die out. People aren't going to forget about it. People are hell-bent on finding out who is on the flight manifest. I wonder just how many tapes were confiscated, what's on them, USB drives, because this guy's been doing it for years, right? So there's going to be There's going to be computer drives with video, with blackmail stuff on it. There's going to even be VHS tapes, you know, going back to the 90s with stuff on it. Like, there's just going to be everything. Like, he's still probably got the tapes of Bill Clinton freaking getting freaky, getting jiggy with it. Yeah, he apparently has this really weird painting in his house, Jeffrey Epstein, of like Bill Clinton wearing a dress or something. It's like really weird shit. The majority will forget, but people who follow the case won't. Yeah, but there's like a large swathe of the public now that are like super into conspiracy theories, and a lot of it isn't even conspiracy theory anymore. A lot of it is just like facts now. A lot of stuff that used to make you sound like a crazy Alex Jones, David Icke watcher, it's just kind of, you know, out there as accepted discourse now. So it's really interesting how the tides is kind of turning.
Just be some regular old computer searches or something you printed out. But the point of the whole exercise was 300 gigabytes of video evidence. So that means that that's video evidence of people doing something most likely they should not have been doing. So my question is, okay, we have the victim. Who was with that victim? I don't necessarily think it was Epstein with 1,000 victims. Were there other people involved, and are we ever going to be able to find out who those people were?
Now, we know that Attorney General Pam Bondi has spoken about the sheer number of videos, the manpower allocated.
Her surname is spelt like Bondi in Sydney, but it's not pronounced Bondi, and that annoys me. Your name should be Pam Bondi, and I demand that you freaking change it, okay? That's all I have to say. Pam Bondi.
To going through them all. Take a look.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm that they still haven't heard from you?
No, the FBI, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
Imagine the therapy you would have to have as like a law enforcement official to go through the child porn and just have to see that. Oh my God. I would need to be in a locked room for the rest of my life. I couldn't watch it. New Epstein video is a disaster. Video on YouTube shows the missing minute. Where are they saying they got the footage from? Ricochet? Because I would be interested in that if it's confirmed legit. You feel sorry for the ones that have to see it. Oh, 100%. It must be soul destroying to have to watch that type of stuff. It must be. Even just hearing about it, just breaks my heart. It's horrible.
Find out.
So according to the DOJ memo, though, the files related to Epstein include a large number of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors, and over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of illegal child sex abuse material and other pornography. Teams of agents, analysts, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberties experts comb through the digital and documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public while simultaneously protecting victims. Much of the material is subject to court-ordered sealing. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly had Epstein gone to trial, as the seal served only to protect victims and did not expose any additional third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of child pornography. So Colin, look, on one hand, I get it, right? I get it. If the majority of what they have right now is material they can't release because it would jeopardize these alleged victims, and it serves...
Yeah, they obviously can't release the actual footage because then the US government is distributing child porn, and I get that. But they can give you a synopsis, right? They can say these are the acts that are happening. even that's like pretty gross. But like there are ways to alert the public as to what, you know, these tapes contain. Obviously, like I do understand you don't want to re-traumatize victims and yada yada yada, and obviously like you don't want normal members of the public seeing abuse, like footage of abuse. Like this type of footage is illegal for anyone to have and illegal for anyone to watch. So I guess that does make it hard, but they can still let us know like what, you know, you don't have to, yeah, I don't know, it is hard, but there are ways that they could let people know what the tapes contain. Hi, Dimpledore. How are you?
No purpose other to put them at risk. I get it, right? What is the value of it? Do you think that this is a situation where there was a lot of conversation going into this? It's maybe going back on their word, the department going back on their word, or they promised too much, they had assumptions, they had expectations, and when you look...
May you ask me a question regarding my game taste? I guess, Dimpledore, if you're going to behave yourself, you can. What do you want to know? I'll await your question with bated breath, Dimpledore. No, I don't play that. Starbound? No, I don't. Is it good? Should I look at it? You're too high to type today? That's fair enough. I'm not high. That would be nice though. I can imagine that would be nice.
Look at the real, concrete, hard evidence going through it.
Would releasing that cause sociological trauma? Probably hyperbovian. A lot of people aren't prepared for some of the horrors that would probably be on those tapes. But at the same time, you know, it seems like people are willingly wanting to know what they are. So if you go in with the expectation that there's going to be heinous things on these tapes, I don't know, some type of psychological preparation might sort of mitigate some of the more traumatic elements of it. But it just depends, you know, it depends on like the exposure, people's stress tolerance in general, how like these types of things might affect them. But yeah, I would say in general, like people that aren't in law enforcement or aren't in social work, aren't in child protection, aren't in like sex crime units of law enforcement, it is probably something that you're not equipped to deal with. And even though like as somebody that has that training, I still find things really, really hard sometimes. And look, I've seen some really horrific stuff as a social worker, and I still, yeah, some days it just hits you harder than others.
There's not much more there, and they realize that through this, if we take them at their word, their thorough investigation.
I think you hit on a great point is many times politicians will
Well, that's the other thing too, Green Sky, like seeing children in or minors in those situations could make somebody aware that they do actually get off on that type of thing. And then, you know, they might seek out more material of the same. That's why I worry about like lolicon, like the anime genre, which depicts, you know, children. They're cartoon children, sure, but how long until you graduate from cartoon children to real children? Like, this is the type of stuff that I worry about. And that's why, like, I was very, very clear when I was making my VTuber model for it to be an adult woman. I don't want, like, weird kumagooners, like, who, like, you know, want to have some weird psychosexual parasocial thing with like a child. I'm like, no, I'm a woman and my VTuber model will look somewhat like me, and I don't want that. That's so weird.
comment on something without having all the context or all the facts, and then they end up having to walk back whatever they said.
Oh, I know you meant a synopsis of it. hyperbovian. I figured you meant that, but I thought I would cover in case you were talking about the footage. Obviously, there's no legal way for the FBI to release the footage, but even a synopsis, yeah, would induce, I believe, like some type of sociological trauma for sure. Yeah.
I think this might be one of those cases because of just the sheer volume of evidence that was seized by the FBI in this investigation. But it also comes back to the point of only 2 people allegedly, or 2 people were brought to justice for his crimes. And he was arrested the first time for being engaged in prostitution. Giselle Maxwell was involved in prostitution. So where are the third parties that were with these victims?
He called her Giselle too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I keep on calling her Giselle. Do I work with this type of stuff? Yeah, I'm a social worker, Dwan. I do work with like child abuse and things like that.
Victims, and who are they? So the other thing I think they're concerned about is if they bring 1 or 2 people to justice, they're going to open up they're going to break the dam, and then there's going to be a public outcry that everybody must go. So the DOJ and the FBI is kind of caught in a very catch-22 because they're darned if they do and they're darned if they don't. So,
well, let's talk about that. So when you say, I mean, you make a point, right? Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted of sex trafficking to who, right? But when they say, and this is one of the biggest revelations from this memo, that there's no list of people allegedly involved in Epstein's crimes, right? Quote, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties, which is what you mentioned before, Colin. But what has been released is a contact book, right, that was found in Epstein's home, contained hundreds of names, including those of celebrities, politicians. But you have to remember, Epstein was a very well-connected financier. He knew a lot of people. Being included in that contact book doesn't mean that those people were part of any illegal activity or had knowledge of what was going on or were part of some alleged trafficking operation. So the question is, will we get more information? It seems like no. The memo reads, while we have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein and ensured examination of any evidence in the government's possession, it is the determination of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation that no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. Colin, bunch of questions here. So first of all, based on what you know of this case, is it surprising that, according to them, they're saying there's really no Epstein list, there's no contact list? Because on one hand, you could say that was something that just came, that was one of the theories that came out as everybody was learning more about Epstein. He must have blackmailed people. He must have been a covert spy. He must have had information about people. Or does it say to you, something's not sitting right, I'm not taking them at face value, and are they completely closed?
I think there's something definitely weird about it. There's definitely something that feels off, I think. Yeah, look, I honestly think that the FBI is covering up for Mossad. I think we know that Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a well-known Mossad spy. And we have good reason to believe that, you know, she's carried on in the family business. So I think this is all related to, you know, how Israel has everybody in American Congress under the thumb, you know, along with the APEC money. I think it's all connected. Just my opinion, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. Don't sue me, don't come for me. Okay, let's go.
This? Are they saying we're no longer going to investigate? There's a difference to say we're not releasing any more information, but can they still look at something, and what would jumpstart an investigation again? So I threw a lot of questions at you. First, let's start. Do you buy that there's no client list?
I do and I don't. There's a list, or you could compile a list because you have 1,000 victims. So that's the first step. What they're saying, there was no list that was used to extort other individuals. So taking that at face value, that's most likely correct. Now, the second part is this the end of this? I think not. I think Congress, especially the Republican members of Congress, are going to really raise hell over this, and they're going to push for more investigation, and they're going to push the DOJ to release more. This is going to, and I think this is not the last chapter. I think this might have just turned this into the first chapter of a new book.
So you think it's going to take that effort to continue an investigation? You don't believe that the FBI, they're putting out a statement here, but the FBI is really conducting an investigation behind the scenes that we just don't know about. They don't have to publicly announce an investigation.
Yeah, and I don't know that. I don't even want to speculate on what the FBI is doing behind the scenes. I just want to, look at the evidence we have in front of us. I think that,
I mean, we would hope that there would still be an ongoing investigation, right? We would hope that the FBI are still investigating this as still an active investigation. It seems like there's a lot of like loose ends. And obviously, like there's a lot of public interest. It would engender a lot of good faith with the public if the FBI were able to have some type of resolutions at the end of this, give the public some information.
There's going to be a lot of pressure though on the FBI and the DOJ to be more forthright and bring out even more information. And on President Trump, because there was lots and lots of promises made, and frankly, he's been keeping his promises. And I think from both sides of the aisle, there's going to be a lot of pressure to know who's on those videos with those victims.
Or could it just be it's Epstein and alleged victims, and that's it? There's no one else there.
Yeah, and in defense of the FBI and the DOJ, they want to move on. There's plenty of crime out there. There's plenty of stuff going on: immigration, violent crime, white collar, the threat from Iran. I mean, the FBI is spread really thin, and I don't blame them. They want to move on.
I mean, I think that would be more the CIA's realm, as the FBI is federal and the CIA is international. But I get what you're trying to say, buddy. I will give you the benefit of the doubt. 11:20, the night goes way too quickly. Oh yeah, and just so everyone knows, tomorrow is State of Origin, so I take Wednesday nights off anyway now, but I will be watching State of Origin, and I will be having a few drinks because I only drink, because of my lupus medications, I only drink on State of Origin and on Christmas. So if I do decide to stream, if I'm in a good mood, if New South Wales smashes Queensland and I'm in a really good mood, I might come and do a tipsy stream, but we'll see how we go. Go Dub Blues, let's go.
Burned up a lot of man hours and time and resources that could have been put towards other things and other new victims of child sex exploitation. So I completely understand, like, especially Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, they're like, look, we've got new stuff to deal with. This has been from 7 years ago. But in our society, everybody is a part of a conspiracy, and they want to get answers, and then the politics.
I don't think it's even the conspiracy element. I mean, obviously the conspiracy element is a big part of why so many people are interested in it. But when things involve children, you have to understand most normal people are going to find that disturbing. If you don't find that disturbing, then you're the odd one out. And when we know that so many people in the elite classes, in the media class, in the political class are sickos, yeah, we do want to know who these people are, and we do want them held to account, because these are the people that look down on like ordinary people like we're scum, you know? We're not out there having relations with children. Like, you guys are the sickos.
Politicians will only, lean in and want to push more because this is salacious information for the public.
Well, it is different because he was so powerful, and he was so wealthy, and he was so well connected. And I mean, this was going on for years. I mean, 1,000 victims. How was that even possible? So I understand people having questions, and I understand that people will want to continue the conversation. And I also understand the FBI and law enforcement and officials going through this material is not easy. It is not.
I mean, like, billionaires and millionaires, Green Sky. I'm sure you have money. If you want to give me money, you can. Just so you know. If you want to buy some subs or something with your money, Green Sky, feel free. Green Sky's in here boasting about their money. Come on. Share the wealth. Share the wealth and the health.
So I agree with you. I think they want to move on. Will this be moving on? I don't know. We'll wait and see. Colin Schmidt, thanks so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts.
Oh, you meant the rich? I thought you were saying, screw you, I have money. I was like, all right, give me something. Yeah, no, that is 100% their attitude for sure. Green Sky, that is definitely their attitude. All right, well, I think I'm going to end the stream because, yeah, there's not really much to say or do. I would like to go to bed. You spend too much money on random shit to be rich. Fair enough, Green Sky. I was only joking. Anyway, everyone's free to watch the show for free, obviously, you know. Yeah, so State of Origin. Hopefully New South Wales win. If they don't, I'll probably be cranky for a few days. But yeah, that's about it. Well, everybody, have a good night. Try and enjoy your Wednesday without me. If I don't stream, I know it will be hard, but try. Go on for me. I would want you to live. I would want you to be happy. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.